So you have perfected your mindset. Now what? You're the smart kid. What went wrong? I feel like I'm not in a space to judge anyone because I have always been the kind of girl who has just embodied the mindset that I know it all. I'm the smartest person ever, and that was just my ego. I thought being soft was for the weak, and being humble was for the people who lost. I was the person who valued anger as something that empowers you, and if you do not get angry in a conversation, you lose. So I used to be a cynic, and now that I think I have changed a little, I can clearly see the difference between who I was and who I am and who I want to be. And this change has not come from reading books, it has come from experience. So clearly, felt like I knew everything. I have had read every self help improvement books ever. I listen to podcasts. I know what to do, what not to do. And still, then, still being still the know it all girl, I still lacked in my life, in my results. And when I saw other people who were more successful than me, I thought maybe they know more. Maybe they know something that I do not know. And now I've just come to realize everybody is on the same page. Nobody knows it all. And the most successful people are just idiots. And it was a very hard pill to swallow because if you're smart and if you have been rewarded for being smart in school, you think like that's the way of life. But in life, the backbenchers are always gonna stay at front because most backbenchers become successful business people, just great at life, earning money, doing ventures because they're not in their head all the time and they're just idiots. They take risks and they do not follow customs, and for a while they are seen as outcasts. But those outcasts turn themselves into something so powerful. So I've realized that my hunger to know it all and do nothing about it was just procrastination. My identity, which was being smart, Mrs. Know It All, was shattered because I realized that knowing it all doesn't mean you were doing it all. Then I realized that everybody knows it all. You know that it is good for you to work out. Maybe not as specific as a nutritionist or a trainer, but you know enough. Still, you're not doing enough. We all have information inside us. We know if we're just honest with ourselves, we know most of the things we need to do. So, information is not knowledge. Information and how smart you are does not correlate to how you succeed because stupid people succeed. And that gave my ego, so that made my identity such a burn because I used to look at people who are not smarter than me being better than me, and I used to get icked out. I became so jealous of them and became bitter and told that life is unfair and that every nothing works out for me, and I am just I just played such a victim and narrated to myself that they were just lucky. How many people are lucky? 500? They're all lucky? No, they just did the deed. They just did the action. And my ability to not do the action means that I want to be right 100% of time just because I think I'm smart. I shouldn't be wrong. So, in this delulu of being smart and in this delulu to do things perfectly, I forgot that I stopped living my life. The successful people are dumb because they do not overthink, because they do not overanalyze, because whether or not they understand or not, overthinking and overanalyzing and thinking about every step and worrying, stressing too much about that one particular thing and being a perfectionist at everything is just a form of procrastination because you're scared of the work. If you already know what you have to do, why not just do it? But you don't do it because you're scared of facing yourself. Because once you start doing the work you need to do, you face your own demons. You face the things in yourself that you wouldn't have faced, and that scares you. What scares you is that you'll one day find the truth that it does not matter how smart you are, you'll have to have the durability to withstand failure. And being such a great player at failure, the smart people, they have been so much good in high school and they have been rewarded for it, and they think life is the same. Maybe life will work out for them, but it does not happen. Okay, so we people are so scared of taking risks when you should be like fail forward and just hugging failure and kind of have this resistance built to failure, that no matter how many times I fail, let's reframe that. The more I fail, the happier I become, the more successful I become. So, failing is not a sign of giving up. Failing is a sign that yes, you're moving forward and yes, you're improving. These kind of people are successful because they are in such a flow state, in a play state, and they do not have to work, but they choose to work. They do not have to live, but they choose to live. They choose to have fun. They choose to enjoy. But the people like I used to be and kind of still am, I just choose the outcome. I choose the numbers, and I forget to realize and I forget to remind myself that like the journey, if the journey is make this journey so good that the outcome is just an outcome, it's gonna come anyway. So if I'm living right now, really, I'm just living my best life, like looking after myself, and if I just keep this on, if I just live my life in a best way, in the best way possible, improving every single day, taking care of my mental, physical health, working towards my goal, there is no way I'm going to be unfulfilled. But the journey matters more for me, and I am in a phase of my journey where I'm just trying to enjoy life. You know, even though I am like I hate working out, I am doing dancing workouts to make it more enjoyable. And why be a cynic when you can just be free? You know? Why box yourself up when you can be vulnerable? Just because you're scared doesn't mean you should miss out on this beautiful world. Obviously, you're scared. Everybody is scared. But the successful people have this thing in them that they'll jump in disasters over and over again and get beaten up, beat themselves up, and walk away unscattered. Because if your heart is truly shining, nothing can dim it down. Doesn't matter what your toxic friends are saying about you. Doesn't matter if they think you're cringe. Okay, one neighbor is watching me right now constantly, and all I can do is smile. Because guess what? I love myself today, okay? And you staring at me and judging me is gonna change nothing. So, yeah, why be a grumpy old man when you can just smile? When you can just the sunrise, it's like 8 a.m. in the morning, and I'm just being now. I just love being a stupid person. Love doing embarrassing things that others would find cringy. I would rather just not lose myself and be myself than fit into other people's boxes and their images of me, because I am constantly changing and I cannot define myself. And yeah, that is life. So be stupid if you have to. Go embarrass yourself in the street and do weird stuff, and you don't have to make your crush like you by being this small creature and just borderline existing. That's not life. If you want to just stay alive and exist, maybe that, but I just don't see a point in that. If you're given this wonderful short time span to just really just have a sense of yourself and the world around you, and be happy, be fulfilled, and find meaning in the even the sadness as well, and have meaningful connection. But if you raise that into being this sad grumpy, what's the point? Just slap yourself and gaslight yourself if you have to into thinking that no, you are worth it and there is just so much in this life. Okay, you don't have to worry about the sun so much. Just go out. I used to be overly analytical and just overthink about these subtle things and make them a big deal, that but obviously they weren't. If I could just put all that energy into the things that truly matter, rather than thinking and talking about doing and thinking about doing, procrastinating and just doing anyway, I would have saved so much time, so much heartbreak, and so much patience. So what I've realized is that you have to have staring, whatever. So what I've realized is that you have to reduce the time between your decision making and doing. And so do more, fail the most, and fail again. I think that is key of life, and be overly optimistic, be overly positive if you have to, and just find happiness in every single moment, and try to not ignore the small things, because the small things really truly matter, and the compounding effect is real. And just start. You have to just start. Wherever you are, whichever deepest pit hole you are in, it does not matter, because you can really pull yourself out. So yeah, be an idiot, let your inner child out, you know, do random things sometimes, like be cringe, okay, do random stuff. Steve Jobs took a calligraphy class when he didn't have to, and it's just worked out all in the end. If you're spending your time in a way that gives you joy and makes you value time and learn something, it is not a waste of time. If you need some time to, you know, some people say that journaling is a waste of time. I find that utter bullshit. If journaling gives you, not only journaling, if something gives you your energy back to yourself and makes you more qualitatively productive, do that. It's your life. Nobody gets to decide what you want to do, what you have to do. Nobody gets to decide that. You get to decide that. So, yeah, obviously take other people's advice, but don't let anybody control your entire path. Realize that you have the ultimate power, and even though it's okay to take other people's opinions, just realize that in the end of the day, it is you who is going to make a decision, and don't be afraid to fail. Don't be afraid to be wrong. You're not a robot. Even robots are wrong. So you're human, obviously. So make as many mistakes as possible, and then learn from them, and then decide which path you want to take, whatever speaks to you. And you don't have to give an explanation to everything and to everyone. Today's view is so good. I'm so happy to be alive.